everyone, Ashley here from Adventures Across, and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to do a little bit of a reflection video of the past, or of the last travel excursion that I went on, because a lot of stuff happened and I really want to share with you. It's all about energetics, and we went on a really cool hike and I connected with some cool serious energy, and I'm just excited to share it with you. So on August 5th, Austin and I left at 4 a.m. and drove to Denver, Colorado. And at 10 something, it was 10 or 11 at night, I hopped on a plane in Denver and I flew to LA to meet a friend. It was this is a new friend, someone that I haven't met before, and I kind of just followed my intuition and went with it, and she ended up being totally amazing, and being with her is really what I needed at the moment. She let me stay with her in her apartment and we did a lot of fun things together. One of my intentions for going on this trip was to, one, take a solo trip by myself, to fly by myself, and to just be able to explore by myself without Austin, because I've never been able to do that, period. And it was really liberating for me to go and do that. Another intention was to meet a couple of people that are in this Facebook group that I joined. It's more than a Facebook group, but we're all connected in on this group, but we're all doing a 6-month chakra healing program together, and it's all centered around extraterrestrials and sacred, being a sacred human and all kinds of other things like that. So this past month we were working on the Sacral Chakra, and I was working on those sort of energies. So I went to LA, and for some reason Sirius was coming up. I really needed to connect in with Sirius and the Sirius energy. And maybe some of you know, but Sirius is a planet where there's a lot of water, or the Sirius star systems have a lot of water on them, and the dolphins and whales, I've heard that they've come to Earth from there and they have certain energies. So I wanted to connect with whales and dolphins, and I wanted to connect with the ocean, because it's something that I haven't really done that much. So the first day that I was there, my friend and I, we went whale watching, and we got to see, there was a pod of 100 dolphins, and we saw a blue whale, and we saw some bottlenose dolphins, and they jump out of the water, and they're really cute, and I've never been able to experience that before, so it was really cool to see that. And then that night we went and visited, we went to Santa Monica and we visited with another person from the tribe, and there were signs of there was a scuba diver image hidden on this peace lily, or this calla lily, and it was just significant for me for something that may happen in the future. So that was the first day, and then the second day was not as eventful. I looked for a wedding dress for my commitment ceremony, a ceremony dress, and found one at the last moment. And then I went and explored Dockweiler Beach by myself for 5 hours, and basically what I did was I walked up and down the beach, and there was a huge stretch of beach that was just totally empty. So I decided to lay down on the beach. I went for a swim, and I've never swam in the ocean before by myself, or just period, just gone in and experienced it. And the Pacific Ocean is really, really wild and really rough for anyone that hasn't experienced it. When we lived in Oregon, we couldn't go in the ocean because it was too cold, and there was just something about it up there where it felt very unsafe to be in the water, because people would get carried out and they would never be seen again. So I didn't really want to do that when I lived in Oregon. But the beach in Southern California, it felt safe enough, and I didn't feel like I was going to get taken out, especially since I saw people that were like really far out and they were like touching the ground. So I decided to go for it, went in for a little bit, got knocked off my feet a few times, and then went and took a nap on the beach. And then all of a sudden I woke up and I was gonna go back to sleep, but then a man like came around and he's like, "Hey, can I sit with you?" And his name was Chris, and it was really random that he came, because he totally like took away, or he like broke down this block that you can be friends with someone of the opposite sex and not feel any sort of like sexual attraction to them, I suppose. Because I was like taught growing up that you can't have friends of the opposite sex because it'll always be there. And we only spent about 45 minutes together, but in that 45 minutes we talked about our lives, we went into the ocean and just like played around like kids, and we sat on the beach and he's like, "Hey, look at these," and he like dug his hand in and picked out a handful of these little sea crabs that just like, they look like pill bugs, but they're actually in the sand. It was really interesting. So like that totally broke something for me, and it was really cool meeting this guy. And then I never saw him again. So he's just one of those people that comes to bring you a lesson, and then maybe that's it. Then on the third day, it was Lionsgate, which is 8/8/18. And I think this happens every year, where it's called the Lionsgate Portal, and this energy comes straight from Sirius and onto Earth. It's like the perfect time between 8/8 and like 8/11. So my friend and then this other tribe member, we went to this really cool, well actually before that, I went for a surfing lesson with my new friend, and she was so down for it. I've never gone surfing before, but it was a really amazing experience. I'll probably go surfing again soon. But basically, like, I just felt really connected with the water, and every time, like, I was terrible at surfing, but every time that I would fall in the water, I just felt like I was getting cleansed, and like the water would go in my ears and like in my nose and in my mouth, and I just felt like I was getting mega cleaned out. And I don't know, the salt water is just, it's very cleansing. I don't know how to explain it. Like electricity flows through you or something. So we went surfing, and then I spent the entire day in Venice Beach by myself, which it was so long, but a lot of things happened. Just exploring by myself and meeting people and talking to random people was a lot of fun. And I went and I found a book that I really enjoy. It's called Earth Magic, and it's all about like healing with plants and shamanism. I'm just like diving into these topics right now because I am interested in them. So, and then I just did a lot of random stuff. I went to the skate park, went to, I walked to this dock that was in, I think it's called Marina Del Rey or something like that. It was really near that part of LA. And I was up on this dock looking down at the ocean, and I saw a huge wad of cash in the ocean. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go down to the beach and get it. And I think it was a test for me. Like, was I going to go walk to the end of the pier, which is what I wanted to do, or was I going to go and try to get the money, which is what I actually did. And I went down there and it wasn't there, and I totally like failed this test. like, pursue what you want, not what seems convenient, right? Like, the money, like, anytime you see money, you're just like, oh, I gotta have it. But that was a big thing for me that day. And then later, I went to this meditation event with my new friend and this other tribe member, who is also a really good friend. And this light worker came, or she was hosting the event, and what she did was she like took energy from Sirius while we were all meditating, and like I was meditating, and what happened was I like felt like I was in the waves, like I was in the ocean in the morning. I just felt that energy, felt like very flowy and very like serious energy, and then fell asleep. And then all of a sudden, I like went like this, like opened my eyes really quick, and then I felt her touch my third eye, and just like a surge of energy just went in me. And then she touched my crown, and then the same thing happened. And what she does is she's like the connector between galactic energy, and she like transmutes it through her body, through her hands, and into the people. So it was like really incredible. And then I fell asleep again, and the same thing happened when she touched my heart, and she just like opened my heart to so much, and it's been like life-changing ever since. Thursday was a travel day where I literally sat at the airport for like 10 hours, and I decided to just read some of my book. I did a little bit of writing. I watched Pocahontas, which was pretty awesome. And then I met a few people like right as I was getting on the plane, and I ended up getting on the plane at like 11 o'clock. Or no, maybe it wasn't 11. It was like 8:30 LA time, but I didn't get into Denver until like 11:30, 12. And then Austin happened to rent a Mustang for the day, just for fun. So he picked me up in this really cool Mustang, and we drove to Aurora, where he had to return it the next day. And we had to sleep in a Walmart parking lot, and apparently it's like illegal now in the city to sleep in Walmart parking lots, which is kind of ridiculous. And where else are you gonna car camp, right? It's so hard to car camp, it seems, nowadays, compared to how it used to be. But basically, I was on guard, and I heard like an announcement over like a speaker or something at 4 a.m. and it's like, if you don't leave the premises right now, we are calling the police on you, and you will be pressed charges. And I was like, okay, we're out of here. So we left and found somewhere else to sleep for a little bit, and then we decided that we wanted to do a hike on Friday. We wanted to summit a 14,000 foot mountain, because there's a lot of those in the Rockies, right? So we found one that was a 7-mile out and back hike, and the elevation gain was 3,000 feet, but you could get to the summit of this mountain. It was called Mount Bierstadt. And so we got to the trailhead, and we started this hike, and it was a very intense hike. The beginning, maybe mile and a half, was very low-key, where you just like walked through this these trails of, it was like within these big bushes. I'm not sure what the plants were. And then there was like a really cool stream, and it came in through, there were like red rocks there. Like, the mountain was definitely made out of granite and stuff, because when we got up there I could tell what it was. So it was kind of different to see the difference in the rocks. But after we got out of that path, it like started to go really steep and really difficult. And Austin already walked like 20 miles the past few days, and then I was just tired from being crammed and stuff. And then I walked like 10 miles the previous day, and we were hiking, and it was really intense, and I was like, I don't know if we're gonna make it up there and back before dark, and I was getting really worried about it. And we just kept going. And eventually we got to the top ridge after, I would say, 4 hours, maybe. No, it might have been 5 hours, because it always takes longer to get to the top than it does to walk down. So we walked for super long and got there. And I'll post like a link in the description so you can watch a little bit of the hike, because Austin made a really cool video about it. But we got to the top, and I decided to hang out on the ridge on the big rocks and just look around, and I decided to meditate, and I made a little crystal grid out of all the quartz that I found along the way. And then Austin went to the peak. He went to the summit, and it was incredible. Like, you'll see in this video. And he took some pictures, of course, and I'll get to that later because it's kind of funny. So he went to the peak, came back down, we walked all the way back down. It was about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night at this time. We got to see the sunset. And there's definitely a really specific reason why we were there, but we didn't know at the time. So we got back down, and the sun had set. We drove down into the nearest town, which was Georgetown, and the brakes were burning and they were super hot, so we decided to stop and rest for a while, and ended up resting for like 4 hours because we had to drive the next day back to Wisconsin for a birthday party. So we slept, or Austin, I should say, slept until midnight, and I was really anxious to get moving, but we had to be patient, obviously, because we were driving through the night. So at midnight we left and started driving, and somehow Austin was able to drive us throughout the night and into like the wee hours of the morning, and we just drove the whole time. And so we drove so far, it seemed, and I slept a lot of the time, because on Wednesday the light workers' instructions were she said to drink a lot of water, because you really need water at this time, and to rest. So I slept a lot. It was really important to sleep, so I slept like most of the drive home. And when I wasn't sleeping, I drove for Austin, so I drove for maybe like 4 hours or so, which is kind of rare because he doesn't ever want me to drive. He usually just drives. So we got to the Mississippi River, and we got to this part of Wisconsin that was like breathtaking. It's called the Driftless, and I guess basically that means that the glaciers didn't come and like plow it over. So it's very mountainous, and there's a lot of, like, the vegetation is very similar but to where I'm living right now, but it's kind of flatlands here. So it's like the vegetation here mixed with mountains, and there's like a big gorge where the Mississippi River is in this region. And I was just like super surprised, and the energy there felt really amazing. So we get to our friend's place, and we like celebrate her kid's first birthday, and it was a lot of fun, and it was really fun getting to connect with people that are similar minded. We haven't seen them in years, and it was the first time we got to meet her 1-year-old. So we did that, and then the next morning she texted me, and she's like, she texted me a picture, and it was one of the pictures that Austin took on his hike. She's like, do you see what I see? Do you see all of the do you see all the penises in this picture? And I was like, oh my god, you're so right. And for anyone that's read my book, it's totally a thing for me to like see funny little jokes like that from the universe, and like seeing penises and seeing vaginas all over the place. Like, it's just a funny thing, and it's a funny reminder about sexuality, and it's a funny reminder that I've been working on the sacral chakra and all of these things with that. And it just happened to be that going up to the mountain, like, we received some sort of healing energy from going up there that has to do with this sacral chakra work that I've been doing, and Austin's been doing it too, because like we're partners, so it kind of just goes together, right? So we've been like experiencing different things within our relationship that have to do with this, and I won't touch on it now. If I feel like I want to share it, I will, but I'm not going to share it in this video. It's really funny how these things are connected, and like, yeah. So basically, that was the update from our week-long trip out west, and we will probably, we are going out west again soon, so we'll see what happens next, right? Anyway, if you like this video, you know what to do. Comment if you have any questions, or if you just want to connect somehow, just comment, subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be posting a lot of cool things coming up. There's a lot of exciting things coming up for us, and I'm very excited to share with you, and share with your friends if you like this. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye!